That's a pretty rosy picture of it all, and I'm pretty confident of what we're doing. After all, my students and I have implemented this strategy many times over the past 30 years. It's how I built my own portfolio. It's how all my successful clients and students have built theirs. So what could possibly go wrong? Well, a lot, actually. Every investment has risk, and it's possible, even with the best investments, to lose all your money. Let's look at a few of the hazards of buying houses like this. Negative cash flow. Your taxes could go up and your rents could go down. You could have a vacancy. A tenant may damage your house and you'll need to pay to get it repaired. You may need to pay an attorney to evict a non-paying tenant. This is usually taken care of by the property manager. It's important to know your risks and be prepared for them. If you don't have any reserve funds, this may not be the right investment for you. I suggest you always keep a reserve for emergencies. When my reserves get low, and sometimes they do, I make sure to get them back up as quickly as I can. My experience as a landlord has been mostly good. All my properties are professionally managed for me, so when there is a problem with a tenant or work that needs to be done, I'm never the person who gets the phone call from the tenant. In fact, they don't even know who I am. They talk to the property manager who solves the problem without me. I've owned properties for 35 plus years. I've seen it all. I've had properties damaged. I've had tenants who couldn't or wouldn't pay. I've had to pay attorneys to evict non-paying tenants. I've had storm damage that needed repair. I've had cleanup work that needed to be done after the last tenant. All of this is handled by my property managers. I don't do any of that work. Many of my properties I haven't even been to see in a decade. Some I've never seen. I just read the QuickBook reports my bookkeeper and property manager create for me every quarter. Sometimes the manager must ask me for money to pay for damages or expenses, and I've sent it to them. But when you have a portfolio, it gets easier. I have quite a few properties, and I've never had a situation where all of them had problems at the same time, knock on wood. Most of the time, the costs of the problems are covered by the income from the other properties I own. So I don't need my bookkeeper to send the property manager money very often. The worst time for me as a landlord was in 2008. We usually have a 3% vacancy rate in my portfolio, which is normal and pretty easy to manage. But in 2008, when the crash hit, my vacancy rate jumped up to 20%, and it took about 6 months to get everything stabilized. Values on the properties dropped almost 30%, but my rents didn't go down. Even though my property values dropped, I wasn't very concerned because I was not going to sell them, and I knew the values would come back up eventually. They did within just a few years and have now vastly exceeded what they were before the crash. My rents have increased, my property values have increased, and my mortgages have paid off. The reason none of this was a disaster for me was because I had reserves in the bank to cover my mortgages and other expenses during emergencies. You don't need a lot, but it's very helpful to have some. Overall, problems like this are just the cost of doing business. It happens to your stock portfolio too. You just don't see the reasons why it's fluctuating the same way you do when you own property. You also don't have nearly as much control if you buy stocks. The stock market is a black box compared to the relative transparency of owning houses. I've heard it said that your success is only limited by how much stress you can bear. Every investment you make, every opportunity you grab, everything you do in life entails risk. I would argue that even sitting at home and hiding from the world, putting your money in a mattress is risky. Life is risky. My life has been dramatically better because of the risks I've taken. Sometimes problems happen and it sucks. I don't always win, But mostly, life has been good to me and the ones I love because I was willing to take measured, thoughtful, informed risks. And I doubt you'd be listening to this if you were mortally afraid of risk. You know it's part of any profitable endeavor and any successful investment plan. Ozzum said it best. You have to be someone who doesn't give a shit about that stuff. If you're buying properties like this, you can afford a new water heater or repairs or a new roof every couple decades, because the bottom line is, if you wait, you always win. And because you have cash reserves, it gives you that cushion. That's the beauty of long-term real estate investments. If you wait, you win.